With me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. We're coming to you live from the newsrooms of CNN News 18. There was a lot of political activity this Tuesday as far as the run-up to 2024 general elections are concerned. On one hand, you had the opposition, almost 26 opposition parties meet in Bengaluru. Remember, this was their second big crucial meeting as far as opposition unity is concerned. And on the other hand, in just a short while from now, you'll have the big NDA meet that is all set to begin, which will have the Prime Minister in attendance as well. And the Prime Minister, in fact, has tweeted just before that meeting is expected to begin here in the national capital. And this is what the Prime Minister has said. It's a matter of immense joy that our valued NDA partners from across the country will be attending the meeting in the national capital today. Ours is a time-tested alliance which seeks to further national progress and fulfill regional aspirations. So that's the tweet that's come in from the Prime Minister just before the NDA meet that is expected to begin here in the national capital. It's got about 38 parties in attendance. Our colleague Payal Mehta also now joining us on the broadcast. So Payal, the opposition is saying the BJP is rattled today, and that's why you have this alliance meeting that is taking place in the national capital. Before we talk about the agenda as far as this NDA meet is concerned, help us understand how many parties in attendance and what is the agenda of this meeting.
Well, as far as Mr. JP Nadda is concerned, he made that announcement yesterday. 38 parties had confirmed their participation in meeting, and the number has only gone up from there on. Because you saw, you saw Chirag Paswan going and meeting JP Nadda later on as well. And of course, there are many more people who are going to be joining in the coming days and weeks. That's the response as far as the BJP is concerned. Now, the bugle for this particular meeting has already been blown by the Prime Minister himself. He says that it is important that all these parties from across the country, even from the far off of the northeast to the southern part of India, they have come for this alliance as well. They've come for this meeting now. There are a couple of very important things that are going to happen over here. Our sources have told us, Ridhima, that in the meeting there will be garlanding of the Prime Minister for leading the NDA to stupendous victory over the last two elections as well. And you can see in your frame that Jitendra Manji, Eknath Shinde there in your frame, nephew Rio, the senior most Chief Minister in the northeastern state of Nagaland. All of these leaders are out here. They've been called out over here. You can see Mr. EPS also over here, Ridhima. These are the leaders here. They are lining up because in a few minutes from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming here. He will in fact be welcomed by these leaders as well. Nephew Rio has been a multiple-time Chief Minister. He's the Chief Minister of Nagaland. EPS is the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Mr. Eknath Shinde there, also standing there. Jitendra Manji, the latest addition to the NDA fold as well. So they are standing here. So all these leaders will be felicitating the Prime Minister here. And they will also be garlanding the Prime Minister for his stupendous election results that I've seen in 2014 and 2019. And also a resolution will be passed on two things. One, the work that has been done by the Narendra Modi-led NDA government in the centre. And then 25 years of the NDA alliance, right from the Atal Bihari Vajpayee times to now onwards as well. So it's just a matter of time. This is the location that we are showing you. My video journalist Ravinder is going to show you the visuals. This is the area from which the Prime Minister will be in fact coming in just a short while from now. The entire area has been sanitized. People have been moved aside as well. There Anil Baluni, who is the media convener for the BJP, conversing with Eknath Shinde, talking about how the meeting is going to really go on. Of course, the discussion will be on the 2024 elections, even so more after what the UPA and the opposition has now done and Team India has done to put it across accurately. So what is the NDA's plan? How do they want to go strength to strength? And more than anything else, the Prime Minister says that it's not a short-term vision for them. Remember, on multiple occasions, Ridhima, the Prime Minister said that this is the party that does not think about one election or two elections. They are probably looking at how to go forward in this alliance till 2047 when India reaches its 100 years of independence. So we're keeping our focus on these visuals as well. From the east, from the northeast to the south, to the west, to the north, you see these leaders. Of course, Eknath Shinde.
The Prime Minister also arrives for this very crucial meeting. Payal, we'll just request you to stay on with us. Our colleague Arun Dhanta also now joining us on the broadcast. Arun, even as we stay these visuals and as Payal is pointing out, it's a matter of time before the Prime Minister arrives, and that's going to be big as far as his presence for this meeting is concerned. But the opposition has been training its guns at the NDA the entire day, saying that they're just concerned in numbers because they're rattled because of the opposition unity. Many even questioning who actually are these parties, are they even registered? What is the line of logic and rationale that is being given by the NDA as far as the timing of this meeting is concerned?
Well, Ridhima, one thing is very clear, that it is going to be a show of might for Bharatiya Janata Party, because there are various points on which they are facing criticism. There are things which is being talked about BJP, that they are not keeping their alliance partners with them. They are not really there for the long haul. And the messaging through this, that you have 38 alliance partners coming and participating in this NDA meet, is that look how we are keeping all our allies with us and how we treat them. This is going to be the first message. And secondly, Ridhima, Prime Minister Modi has already set the tone for this NDA's meeting when he says that the NDA alliance is a time-tested formula. It is very clear that Prime Minister Modi is taking a pot shot at the opposition meeting where 26 opposition parties have come together. And in fact, the messaging is very clear from the BJP side that these parties are those opportunistic parties who are coming together for the sake of power. There is no other ambition which they have. There is no other emotional bond which they have with each other like we have in NDA. That's the messaging which Prime Minister Modi is sending out before he arrives here in the Ashoka Hotel for the meeting by this tweet where he's saying that it's a time-tested alliance of NDA. And of course, it is going to be very, very crucial and important meeting because this kind of meeting, Ridhima, is taking place after a very, very long time. We had seen various NDA meetings before the parliament session. That is different. But this kind of meeting, perhaps, I don't remember, it may happened 5 years back in 2019. But therefore, it is going to be very, very important as to what message Prime Minister Modi is going to give. And this is actually the gate from where all the NDA partners and all the top leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party are going inside. We have seen Amit Shah going inside, JP Nadda, Rajnath Singh, all of them have gone inside.
So you already have the Home Minister, Amit Shah, who's there. You have the BJP National President, JP Nadda, who's there. And as our colleagues are reporting, matter of time before the Prime Minister arrives for this crucial meeting as well. Arun, I'll just request you to stay on with us. Going back to our colleague Payal. Payal, while the Prime Minister earlier in the day made a scathing attack against the opposition before the opposition meet, saying that this was just an alliance as far as the corrupt is concerned, the opposition is hit out at the NDA and saying this is a disaster alliance. They've also hit out as far as the narrative of misuse of agencies is concerned. Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party tweeted saying that all these alliance partners have been brought together by the ED because the criticism against the NDA and the BJP is that any leader who jumps ships to the BJP or joins hands with them, cases against them are dropped. How is the BJP and the NDA responding to criticism that is being made by the opposition?
Well, Ridhima, to bring you the visuals first, there you see on your screen BJP's National President Mr. JP Nadda there joining Eknath Shinde, joining Nephew Rio, joining EPS and of course joining Jitendra Manjhi as well. It's very interesting to see the selection of the leaders who've been brought in as here. The opposition parties have been criticizing and saying that BJP is just a factional party. They do not have national presence as well. But there you go. You can basically see that JP Nadda there smiling, and obviously because he's been able to get 38 parties to come for this particular meeting as well. It's a very important selection. Northeast, Nephew Rio, one of the oldest chief ministers in the region. EPS, the former chief minister of Tamil Nadu and a long-time ally of the BJP, right from the time that they have been, venturing out in Tamil Nadu. The latest addition, amongst the Maharashtra fold, of course, Eknath Shinde also standing there to welcome the Prime Minister Jitendra Manjhi. Quit the opposition rank just before the first meeting of the opposition parties, and of course the BJP's National President Mr. JP Nadda as well. So this is a messaging that the BJP is really doing, and it's very important to see the kind of messaging that is being done, saying that here we have leaders who are chief ministers. There are two chief ministers over there, two former chief ministers, one former chief minister over there in EPS as well. A very, very tall leader in the Bihar fold, Mr. Jitendra Manjhi standing over there, and of course the BJP National President over there as well, to tell you that yes, the opposition can say whatever they want, but we have acceptance all over India as well, and we have acceptance in the areas where the BJP probably has made a dent to the opposition parties for a very, very long time. The Northeast is a strong example of that. There has been no opposition to Nephew Rio's government for 2 times now, and Nephew Rio's government is absolutely opposition-less as well. So that's a very critical message that is being sent over there. There you see, we'll keep our visuals to that note as well. to just see, because it's going to be just a matter of time since Mr. JP Nadda has arrived. Anytime now, Ridhima, we'll keep our visuals to that plate over there, and we'll be able to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving on that particular plate.
Yeah, so as Payal and Aruna pointing out, literally a matter of minutes, we've seen the BJP National President JP Nadda also step out with all the other ministers who are in attendance for this very crucial meet, ready to welcome him. The presence of the Prime Minister also shows how important this meeting is as far as the NDA is concerned, just before the general elections of 2024. Even as we stay with those visuals, I'll request our colleagues to stay on with us. Let's bring in our guests as well. We have Deshratan Nigam, who's a lawyer and political analyst. We also have Meeta Chakrabarti, the spokesperson as far as the Congress party is concerned. Good to have both of you with us here on CNN News 18. Meeta, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. It's a very crucial day today. You had the opposition meet, 26 parties meet in Bengaluru. On the same day, you have the NDA with almost 38 alliance partners meeting in the national capital. How do you see the timing of the NDA's meeting as well?
Okay, good evening to you and to all your viewers. I think it's pretty evident that after the first opposition meeting that happened in Patna, Mr. Modi and the BJP government has obviously been rattled. And hence, suddenly he was reminded of NDA. I do not remember the last time the NDA had a meeting like this. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but in the last many years, there had been not a single NDA meeting. And suddenly he's reminded of NDA, and he's trying to revive NDA by inviting other political parties, and many of these political parties do not even have any representative in Lok Sabha. But that's completely his prerogative. He can invite as many parties as he wants to. He can have meetings of NDA, but yes, the timing is really critical. And the fact that he decided to call on the same day, this date was declared by the Congress party and by the opposition parties a long time back. It really shows that how rattled BJP is. As far as we are concerned, we had 26 like-minded parties who got together. It was a very productive and fruitful discussion that we had. We are going to set up a coordination team of 11 members, and we're also going to set up a secretariat.
Meeta, I apologize for interrupting because we're now getting visuals coming in of the Prime Minister, in fact, reaching the venue as far as the NDA meet is concerned. As we'd been reporting that it was a matter of minutes, you'd already seen the other ministers and dignitaries who were out there to welcome him, including the BJP President, JP Nadda, and those visuals now on your screens of the Prime Minister, in fact, arriving for this very crucial meeting, which has about 38 alliance partners of the BJP in attendance. The opposition is saying this is a rattled BJP just because the opposition has been able to come together. The BJP now realizing that the opposition is a threat as far as 2024 is concerned. If our colleagues are still with us, I'd like to go back to them to try and understand the inside details of what's going to be the agenda as far as this NDA meeting is concerned and what they hope to achieve by the end of this meeting as well. Arun continues to be with us. So Arun, we're looking at those visuals of the Prime Minister, in fact, arriving for this very crucial NDA meeting in the national capital, being welcomed by the other dignitaries, including the Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, the BJP National President JP Nadda, and many others. What is it that the NDA aims to achieve by the end of this meeting?
Well, see, of course, at the end of this meeting, Prime Minister Modi will have an address where he will be addressing all the 38 NDA partners, and therefore that address of Prime Minister Modi will be very important. And of course, we're given to understand that as the meeting convenes, Union Home Minister Amit Shah will give the opening address, and there will of course be a dinner post meeting for the all NDA allies. And of course, we're also told that there will be a resolution which will be passed in this NDA's meeting. So what is going to be that resolution? That is something which is going to be very crucial. As of now, the indications that we are getting is that it is going to be a mission for 2024, and as we have been speaking to various NDA political parties since morning, they've been saying that their target is to make Prime Minister Modi once again for the third time Prime Minister of the country, and they will be working in that direction. But of course, how easy and how challenging it is going to be, that is something which we will see in the run-up to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Of course, this is the first meeting after a very long time, so we will not actually see many things emerging out of it. But of course there will be a strategy that how they can actually go ahead, because you don't have much time left for the Lok Sabha elections. Before that you have assembly elections, so you have to prepare for that as well. And once those assembly elections are over, then you have very limited time to actually go in full swing for the preparations of 2024. So this meeting of NDA will set the tone. The messaging will go to all the allies, that how we need to go together and how we need to fight. And this NDA alliance becomes very, very critical at this juncture, when you have 26 opposition parties coming forward and giving India the name to their alliance. And of course they will be very upbeat about this. They are giving clear indications that they are together and they will fight it out in 2024. So this NDA's meeting is going to be very, very crucial. And of course this is not going to be the first meeting. Perhaps in coming few weeks we'll see some sort of other meetings of this nature will take place, because we are also told that such meetings with NDA allies will be a regular thing in coming few months as we head towards the Lok Sabha election. So this meeting of NDA is going to be very, very crucial and very important.
Arun, we'll just request you to stay on with us, keep tracking those developments for us. We'll continue to come back to you. Let me continue the conversation with our guest, Deshratan Nigam. I apologize for interrupting a short while ago. Essentially, what the Congress and the opposition is saying, that this is a rattle BJP and a rattle NDA. Look at the timing of when their meeting is happening. They had been laughing at us, saying that we can't get opposition parties together. From Patna to Bengaluru, there has been a substantial increase, not just in the number of parties that have come together, but in terms of what we've been able to achieve as well. The UPA, there's a new name as far as the alliance is concerned, and they're calling it Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance. How do you see the developments that have happened and the criticism that's coming in from the opposition that this is a rattle BJP and that is why this NDA meet is happening in such a fashion?
Ridhima, in fact, NDA exists and it is expanding. What happened in Bengaluru, the opposition meet that is taking place, is actually a rattled one. Their only agenda is to defeat Mr. Modi and BJP. A common minimum program is not there, so we'll have to wait. How many people will be on board with the common minimum program? What would be their stand on UPC? In fact, yesterday in your conclave only, it was said by Manish Tiwari about Article 370. He says the last word has not yet been heard on 370. They have to also clarify their stand on 370. Are they against it or for it? So these are very difficult questions for them to answer. And like-minded, I was going through a video where Aam Aadmi Party's Arvind Kejriwal said, arrest Sonia Gandhi and interrogate her for 2 days and you will come to know all kinds of corruption. So is this the like-mindedness they have? Or TMC versus Congress, Communist versus Congress, or the Aam Aadmi Party versus Congress? So is this the like-mindedness that we are talking about? The inherent contradictions that we have. Leaders may meet in Bengaluru. What the voters will shift or not? Voters who have been fighting with each other amongst these parties is a very difficult question to answer. People just presume that the voters will also shift along with the leaders. No, they have been fighting tooth and nail with each other. A lot of, Congress members also, along with the BJP and RSS members, have been killed in West Bengal in recent Panchayat elections. How will you convince those
Meeta
people?
Chakrabarti, that's the point that the BJP is making time and again, that yes, it's all good as far as a photo opportunity is concerned, that you're saying we've increased from 16 to 26, but many of these opposition parties have vehemently opposed each other on a regional level. Aren't you confusing the voter and even the Karyakarta? For example, the Aam Aadmi Party is taken on the Congress versus the TMC. Are parties today confident that they've been able to keep these differences aside?
Yes, we are extremely confident, and I'll tell you why. As our AICC President, Mr. Kharge, mentioned today, that we do not have very broad ideological differences, mostly, with most of the parties. If you look at Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, if you look at TMC and Congress, the differences are the way we approach politics at the local state level. What are we representing here? We want to defend the constitutional values. All these parties believe in the idea of secularism. We want to defend the federal structure of the country. We stand for social justice. We stand for inclusive economic development. So our approach, be it on the economical front or be it on the social front, at many points are very, very similar. And hence we have got together. Secondly, we haven't only got together to defeat Modi ji. No. We are here to agree on a common minimum program. We are here to give an alternative political narrative to the people of India so that they have a realistic choice to make. So the people of India need to decide what kind of India they want. We have an idea of India, and that is what we are representing. A secular, democratic India which stands with the constitution of the country, which stands for the federal structure of the country. So we are very clear about our ideological standpoint. And as I was trying to tell in the last time, that we have created a coordination team which will have 11 members. We are creating a secretariat in Delhi. And we have a proper plan of action as how we are going to define the common minimum program, how we are going to come up with our campaign, how we are going to come up with our nomenclatures, the conveners, and we have a proper plan of action that has been decided in the past 2 meetings, be it in Patna or today in Bengaluru.
So
we have made meaningful progress.
Saying that first the BJP was saying we will not be able to get the opposition parties together. We got the opposition parties together. Then the BJP said that we don't have a common agenda. We have a common agenda. We're able to keep our differences aside. Why is the BJP only bothered as far as what our agenda is? Why they're not focusing on what their work is? One of the biggest criticism against the BJP has been as far as the misuse of central agencies is concerned. And this is something that we saw the opposition escalate even before this crucial NDA meeting. Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party said these parties and alliance partners have been brought together by the Enforcement Directorate because the opposition today says...
BJP and
one second, Veeta Chakrabarti. Deshrata Nigam, because today the opposition says that any leader that jumps ship to the BJP, all cases against them are dropped. So the alliance partners who've come together are only come in because of their own selfish interests, because they don't want any action taken by central agencies.
See, the fact is central agencies will do their work. Even the NDA and the Prime Minister and the Home Ministers have made it very clear. And once the case is filed by the prosecuting agencies like ED or CBI, then the matter is taken to the court. The moment an FIR is registered, it goes under the control of the court. None of the courts have discharged any of these people who have got these corruption charges or money laundering charges. The courts, they can move the court for quashing of their cases, but none of them are doing so. Even where they have gone for quashing, even there also the courts have refused. So they are going to the trial. It is not that they are innocent. They have to, in fact, under the law, they are guilty till proven innocent under money laundering. So these are very serious charges. On one side, you see the corrupt. On the NDA side, the honest people. And if you are talking about washing machine, let me tell you, once the matter is registered by the court controls. Nobody can wash except the court. Courts can only wash the sins or the guilt of a person. Even the prosecuting agency, if they want to drop a case, they cannot without the permission of the court. So one is to be very, very clear.
Okay. Deshrata Nigam, I'll just apologize for interrupting because now we're getting the first visuals from inside as far as this crucial NDA meet is concerned. And on your screens, you can see the Prime Minister in attendance, the BJP National President JP Nadda and all others. The Prime Minister being garlanded by all those who are in attendance, various dignitaries, ministers and the alliance partners. The crucial importance of this meeting is this is coming on a day when the opposition leaders met in Bengaluru. This, of course, is a stage being set, the ball being rolled as far as 2024 general elections are concerned. The Prime Minister in attendance shows the importance as far as this NDA meet is concerned. So those first visuals from inside the venue where this meeting is scheduled to take place on your screens. What you see on your screens is the Prime Minister, the Home Minister Amit Shah, the BJP National President, JP Nadda and the other alliance partners, almost 38 of them in attendance as far as this NDA meet is concerned. Let me continue the conversation with our guests before we bring our colleagues back. But Veeta Chakrabarti, even as we stay with those visuals coming in from the NDA meet, the Prime Minister put out a very interesting tweet just before this meeting started saying that this is a tried and tested alliance, not like the other alliances that the opposition is talking talking about. The criticism that has come the opposition's way is that opposition parties have had very different stance on very important issues like the CAA, like the UCC. How are you expecting to come together when your stance on issues like these have been so different?
Well, what is the commonality between a party like NCP? I think only a few days back, none other than the Prime Minister used to call NCP the naturally corrupt party. We did not say this. This was the Prime Minister Modi. Now, I would like to ask if there was some official spokesperson from the BJP side that what is the commonality between Ajit Pawar and NCP and the BJP? So we see that a Hemant Biswa Sharma, when he was in the Congress, was very corrupt. There were booklets released on him. But when he crosses over, the cases are slowed down. There's no charge sheet filed. Nothing happens. And he is promoted to being the the Chief Minister of Assam. Same happens with Shubhendu Adhikari, who's the leader of opposition in West Bengal, the state that I come from. So, and Narayan Rane is not corrupt, and the list is very long. And Ajit Pawar is not naturally corrupt anymore. NCP is not a naturally corrupt party anymore because you have this magical washing machine that BJP has. So that's about corruption charges. Now, secondly, when Prime Minister says that NDA is a time-tested alliance, a time-tested alliance which did not even have a single meeting for the past 9 years.
Okay.
So was that alliance even an active alliance? That's my limited query here. Number three,
I'll just take that to Deshratan Nigam in just a bit.
Yeah.
Meeta, I'll just take that to Deshratan Nigam in just a bit. I want to just bring in our colleague Arun also back in the conversation. Arun, we just got those first visuals coming in from inside the meeting venue, the Prime Minister being garlanded, being welcomed by various other dignitaries. Talk to us about what's really happening around you.
Well, that's right. These visuals are of inside Ashoka Hotel, where this NDA meeting is going to commence any moment from now. All the top leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party, the likes of Prime Minister Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, JP Nadda, they all have arrived here at the venue, and in fact, all other leaders of 38 NDA parties, they are also inside. So we are told that as the meeting begins, it will be Union Home Minister Amit Shah who will be addressing all these political parties who are present there. What is going to be the line of address of Amit Shah? That is also going to be very, very interesting. We are also given to understand that there will be a resolution which will be passed at the end of this NDA meeting. And of course, also Prime Minister Modi will be giving an address to the gathering of these 38 political parties. Now, the crucial point here is that this meeting is coming at this juncture, and this is the point which opposition parties are picking, that why this NDA meeting is taking place this time when we have not seen such meeting of NDA taking place in past couple of years. And when we are meeting, when we had our first meeting in Patna, when BJP saw the attendance of 24 parties in that meeting, that was the shivering point for BJP, and therefore they decided to call this meeting of NDA. And they are also saying that the small parties which BJP is bringing back in their fold at this moment are those parties which were abusive towards BJP in the past, which left BJP by saying so many things against BJP, and now see these parties are back in the fold of NDA. So what we are seeing at this juncture is that both back and forth from opposition and NDA side.
Okay, Arun, we'll just request you to stay on with us. Our colleague Payal Mehta also now joining us on the broadcast. So Payal, as Arun was describing what the agenda of this meet is, there's going to be a welcome note as far as the Home Minister is concerned. What is crucial is going to be what the Prime Minister says by the end of this meeting. But what was also interesting are the visuals that we got when the Prime Minister just arrived for the meeting. The people who were there to welcome him. Of course, there was the BJP National President JP Nadda. There was also the Chief Minister of Eknath Shinde. Help us understand the choice of ministers who were there to welcome the Prime Minister and what's on the agenda in the next 1 hour.
Well, the Prime Minister knows that there were 1 million cameras which were focused on him at this point in time, and that's one of the reasons those visuals that were coming to the fore were very important. You saw him getting out of his car and then, take the greetings from JP Nadda, the party's national president as well, and then he went on to meet Jitin Ram Manjhi. Now, Jitin Ram Manjhi is a crucial factor as far as the party's fortune in Bihar is concerned. He has been in and out of the NDA fold as well. He just walked out of the alliance of the Maha Vikas Yukti, which is in Bihar, the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar, just before the first meeting meeting of the opposition parties as well. So that is something which is very important. He also had a bit of a conversation with Eknath Shinde, and Eknath Shinde could be seen, standing in front of the Prime Minister with folded hands, acknowledging what the Prime Minister was really saying. It will be important to understand from Shinde what exactly the Prime Minister was telling him at that point in time. But yes, the plan is not only to look at 2024 because that's the immediate target, undoubtedly, because it's about 6 months to go before the next election. But the important thing will be to understand if the Prime Minister gives them a longer vision. Now, on multiple occasions, Ridhima, the Prime Minister has told his party and several other parties in the government that, this is a government which is there to stay for a long time. It's not a short-term vision government. This government is going to be around for quite some time. So that's one of the reasons he's told his party leaders and also his ministers in his government that whatever project you start, you finish that as well. You make sure that you inaugurate it as well and take it to the finish as well. So that's the kind of a message that you're expecting him to send. The Prime Minister once again has also been stressing a lot on Amrit Kal, which is when India turns 100 years old. So probably a message as far as that is also concerned is also going to be going, because the Prime Minister will try and explain to the opposition party agenda is to just be riddled in corruption, but whereas his party and his government's purpose is to work for the welfare of the people as well. And there will be, of course, a account given of what work has been done under the Narendra Modi fold in the last 9 years. He will be felicitated. I saw a garland going in inside, a huge garland going in
so
inside.
So as Payal and Arun both pointing out how crucial this meeting is going to be, and of course what is going to be important is what the Prime Minister says by the end of this meeting. I apologize for interrupting. We do have to slip into a very short break, but this is a big story that we'll keep tracking. We're coming back with lots more.
It essentially is going to pitch itself opposite the NDA or the BJP, which has always been accused of being disruptive. So here they are saying that we are not divisive, we are not disruptive, we are inclusive, we want to take everyone, and integrative. I think that's the key point as far as this whole acronym about India is concerned, which is being tweeted out immediately by all those leaders, some of whom are not there, some of whom are there. The first one to do so, of course, was the Trinamool Congress's whip in Rajya Sabha, that's Derek O'Brien, and he's been one of the chief negotiators as far as his entire opposition unity meeting is concerned. But I think that's essentially the point which the opposition wants to make. In fact, in a short while from now, Ayushman, that press conference, that joint press conference is going to take place. Clearly on agenda was the name. Clearly on agenda was also what is going to be the common minimum or common manifesto. So these are the nitty-gritty points which are being put out.
Absolutely. We're also joined by Harish, who's reporting from Bengaluru, where that critical meeting is taking place. Harish, so the buzz has now started coming in from top opposition leaders that this alliance will be called India, the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance, emphasizing on the word inclusive.
Absolutely, because several of these parties, remember, have spoken about how this narrative of majority versus minority should end. And perhaps they believe that a name with this kind of a nomenclature will help them take that message forward. This is something that many people had spoken, and perhaps parties that have expressed concern about this narrative of majority versus minority would have pushed for this, and now finally looks like there is a consensus on it. One thing becomes very clear now, that there's a decision on this aspect. Whether there have been other contentious issues that have been decided upon, that's something that we'll get to know in the next few hours, because apart from who the leader will be and the seats, there are issues that need to be decided immediately. For example, parties pushing for a consensus stand on UCC in the parliament, in the next session of the parliament. Has there been a decision on that? That's something that we'll have to see. And the fact that now that this name has been decided, how does the party now, or this alliance now, want to take it forward in terms of how they use it in their campaign and the outreach?
Right. And Pallavi, we've been discussing this before as well. When it comes to the optics, the opposition always tries to put its best foot forward. They have the meetings, they have the rallies, they come out with the big messages. But when it comes to the modalities of the alliance, that's where we see breakdowns. Now, when it comes to this pitch of the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance, one of the key contentious issues, as Harish is also pointing out, is the Uniform Civil Code. Do they sense that beyond this pitch of coming out with the name of the alliance, they can come to a common minimum understanding when it comes to the contentious issues on the road to 2024?
issue. At the end of the day, the identity of one of the constituents is something which should not be completely lost. So therefore, I mean, if you go by Mr. Kharge's opening remarks, he said we also have to understand that each one of us have our individual ambitions, but we also have to give a big heart and we have to deal with it with an open heart. So I don't think they would want to see the different points of view as far as the UCC is concerned as any kind of a roadblock to an opposition unity. I remember, if you go back to the times of UPA, very often the constituents differed. At the end of the day, sometimes they would reconcile, sometimes they would not reconcile. But here's the problem, you know, Ayushman, because the BJP and the NDA particularly is going to now project itself as a party and a front which really is united truly in every possible way, which means that we do know, for example, that the NDA is going to be united and speak with one voice. They are going to project themselves as one kind of a united front, and they are going to start nitpicking, which they already have on as far as the opposition unity front is concerned, that you have an AAP versus Congress, you have a TMC versus Congress. How can you even call them united? But that's the basic premise which they began their meeting on, is that we can have our individual differences, we can have a different point of view, but that does not mean that at the end of the day, at a macro level, we can project together and fight as one.
Right. I'm also joined by Kamalika Sengupta. She's back with us on the broadcast. Kamalika, that pitch which came in, which is coming in from the opposition camp. Also, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're joined by Mr. Amit Malviya of the BJP on the broadcast. Thank you, Mr. Malviya, for joining us on CNN News 18. India is the buzz that is being created by the opposition camp, the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. How do you react to that?
There was nothing progressive about the UPA except corruption and perpetuating dynasty. Similarly, the same people are now regrouping under a different name. It does not change anything from their politics. They are dynastic, they are corrupt, and they are meant to weaken India. Will that change? What is their policies? What are their programs? What is the vision they have for India? Who's their leader? That is more important. Those are the substantive questions that must be asked. What name do they group under? It does not matter. We had Simi. Simi was banned for radical activities. They regrouped under another organization, which had to be finally banned. So regrouping under a new organization does not change the character of the people. And the people of this country will elect a leader for his character and not for the name under which they group.
And amid the opposition meeting, there's a big buzz. 2 tweets from opposition ranks has sparked a big speculation over the name of the opposition alliance. TMC's Derek O'Brien and Congress Party's Manickam Tagore have hinted that the alliance is likely to be called India, which stands for, which is a big pitch that's coming in from the opposition camp, that the pitch is that the opposition unity will be called India, ladies and gentlemen. And the thinking is that it should be called the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. That is the abbreviation that the United Opposition is trying to push when it comes to taking on the NDA, that the alliance will be called India, which is the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. I'm joined by my colleague Kamalika Sengupta, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. Kamalika, give us the details.
See, the buzz is there in Bangalore and totally nationally, the buzz is there in the political circles that the new name of this group, the opposition group, will be known as India. So the abbreviations, they are still working on the abbreviations that the sources are telling us. The sources are telling us that the name might be India, and that is the buzz in the entire political circle. So we have 2 tweets, like very interestingly, Derek O'Brien has tweeted, "Chak de India." And also we have Congress leader tweeting it on India. So will it be, is the name India? Will the name be India? That is the focus. Sometime from now, in an hour, they'll do a big press conference. That's what we are getting it from the sources. Still, you know, Indian National Democratic, what will be the abbreviations that are still working, that they are still working on? But The buzz is, though they have not officially said anything, but the buzz is that the new group, the opposition group, the name might be India. So it's if it's India, then it's India versus NDA. So definitely all the big leaders, all the top leaders of the opposition, from Mamata Banerjee to Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them have sit together. They are working on the
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Even as the NDA meet is currently underway here in the national capital, you also had a very key opposition meet take place earlier in the day in Bengaluru, where 26 opposition parties met to come together as far as a consensus and plan for 2024 is concerned. They've also renamed their alliance, which is now called India. But the Prime Minister also earlier in the day hit out at the opposition and said this so-called opposition unity is just for optics. This is an alliance of various corrupt parties who've just regrouped and come together. Let's listen in to what the Prime Minister had to say earlier in the day.
24 के लिए 26 होने वाले राजनीतिक दलों पर ये बड़ा फिट बैठता है। गाइड कुछ है, हाल कुछ है, लेबल कुछ है और माल कुछ है। इनकी दुकान पर दो चीजों की गारंटी मिलती है। एक तो ये अपनी दुकान पर जातिवाद का जहर बेचते हैं और दूसरा ये लोग असीमित भ्रष्टाचार करते हैं। लोकतंत्र के लिए कहा जाता है ऑफ द पीपल, बाय द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल। लेकिन इन परिवारवादियों का मंत्र है ऑफ द फैमिली, बाय द फैमिली, फॉर द फैमिली। फैमिली फर्स्ट, नेशन नथिंग। आपने देखा है कि कुछ दिन पहले ही पश्चिम बंगाल में पंचायत चुनाव हुए, वहां सरेआम हिंसा हुई, लगातार खून खराबा हो रहा है। इस पर भी इन सब की बोलती बंद है।
So there you heard what the Prime Minister had to say earlier in the day, in a way questioning the intent and the agenda as far as these 26 opposition parties are concerned. The Prime Minister mincing no words, saying this is an alliance of corrupt that has just come together. Nothing for the nation or the people of this country will in fact come out of this alliance, because this is an alliance that has parties that only works for a particular family and not for a nation. Let's get our colleagues back in the conversation. Arun Dhanta continues to be with us. Payal Mehta also continues to be with us. Payal, the Prime Minister minced no words before the opposition meeting, and the simple point that has been reiterated by the Prime Minister is that you can name it whatever, you can regroup yourself, but the intent is still missing, because the Prime Minister said this is an alliance of the corrupt. Many opposition parties, they can only work for a family and not for the nation. What is the messaging that has been sent out by the Prime Minister?
If you recap and if you recollect, then you will know that the motto of the BJP so far, Ridhima, has been that it is a nation first, party next and self at the last. But you know, for these opposition parties, it is themselves first, their families first, and the nation is nothing. That's what the Prime Minister really has said. He has said that during the UPA rule, many of these parties, whether it is the RJD, whether it is the DMK or whether it is the Congress party, they've been embroiled in various corruption activities, and those corruption activities are there for the world to see as well. So all that they can guarantee and give the country is corruption. This is possibly the third or the fourth time in the last fortnight that the Prime Minister has spoken about the opposition parties on these lines, and he's really said that the only thing that binds them together is corruption. They have no value for human lives as well, and he's questioned why the Congress party and the TMC has been quiet on the violence in Bengal and why have they not spoken anything about it as well. He has also taken a jibe at Rahul Gandhi, because remember, Rahul Gandhi has often gone and said that he wants to set up Mohabbat ki dukaan, but the dukaan that they've set up is casteism and corruption. That's what the attack of the Prime Minister has been, and it's the same plank on which, remember, in 2014 when the BJP came to power with that huge majority, and that majority even got bigger in 2019, they kept on saying that they will bring a corruption-free government. They came at the plank of fighting against corruption, and that is something which they have been saying that they have been been able to take on as well. And they say, and the BJP leaders and the Prime Minister himself says with a lot of pride that there is not an ounce of corruption on his government or he over the last 9 years, and that's probably the biggest takeaway because people have expressed faith in them. And Jan Vishwas and Jan Bhagidari is something that the Prime Minister has often reiterated. It is the people of the country who have to be kept first. That's also a message that the Prime Minister has really said. And gone are the days when dynastic parties could just pass on the baton from one family member to the other. This is a time when the voters are getting smarter and the voter would like to seek accountability. That is again a very important message that the Prime Minister on multiple occasions has also given to his party leaders, saying do not take the voters and their votes for granted. Work to the best of your ability is the message that he gave to his Council of Ministers the last time.
Okay, Payal, we'll have to leave that conversation there. I'll just request all our colleagues to stay on with us. We do have to slip into another short break. We're coming back with lots more.
Project themselves as one kind of a united front, and they're going to start nitpicking, which they already have on as far as the opposition unity front is concerned, that you have an AAP versus Congress, you have a TMC versus Congress. How can you even call them united? But that's the basic premise which they began their meeting on, is that we can have our individual differences, we can have a different point of view, but that does not mean that at the end of the day, at a macro level, we can project together and fight as one.
Right. I'm also joined by Kamalika Sengupta. She's back with us on the broadcast. Kamalika, that pitch which came in, which is coming in from the opposition camp. Also, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're joined by Mr. Amit Malviya of the BJP on the broadcast. Thank you, Mr. Malviya, for joining us on CNN News 18. India is the buzz that is being created by the opposition camp, the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. How do you react to that?
There was nothing progressive about the UPA except corruption and perpetuating dynasty. Similarly, the same people are now regrouping under a different name. It does not change anything from their politics. They are dynastic, they are corrupt, and they are meant to weaken India. Will that change? What is their policies? What are their programs? What is the vision they have for India? Who's their leader? That is more important. Those are the substantive questions that must be asked. What name do they group under? It does not matter. We had Simi. Simi was banned for radical activities. They regrouped under another organization, which had to be finally banned. So regrouping under a new organization does not change the character of the people. And the people of this country will elect a leader for his character and not for the name under which they group.
And amid the opposition meeting, there's a big buzz. 2 tweets from opposition ranks has sparked a big speculation over the name of the opposition alliance. TMC's Derek O'Brien and Congress Party's Manickam Tagore have hinted that the alliance is likely to be called India, which stands for, which is a big pitch that's coming in from the opposition camp, that the pitch is that the opposition unity will be called India, ladies and gentlemen. And the thinking is that it should be called the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. That is the abbreviation that the United Opposition is trying to push when it comes to taking on the NDA, that the alliance will be called India, which is the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. I'm joined by my colleague Kamalika Sengupta, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. Kamalika, give us the details.
See, the buzz is there in Bengaluru and totally nationally, the buzz is there in the political circles that the new name of this group, the opposition group, will be known as India. So the abbreviations, they are still working on the abbreviations that the sources are telling us. The sources are telling us that the name might be India, and that is the buzz in the entire political circle. So we have 2 tweets, like very interestingly, Derek O'Brien has tweeted, "Chak de India." And also we have Congress leader tweeting it on India. So will it be, is the name India? Will the name be India? That is the focus. Sometime from now, in an hour, they'll do a big press conference. That's what we are getting it from the sources. Still, you know, Indian National Democratic, what will be the abbreviations that are still working, that they are still working on? But the buzz is, though they have not officially said anything, but the buzz is that the new group, the opposition group, the name might be India. So it's if it's India, then it's India versus NDA. So definitely all the big leaders, all the top leaders of the opposition, from Mamata Banerjee to Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them have sit together. They are working on the name and the buzz. And you know, there's two significant tweets by Derek O'Brien and also by the Congress leader itself puts a big question. It itself has, you know, created this buzz that is the name India.
Right. So Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. We also got a tweet from Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Uddhav faction of the Shiv Sena saying, so 2024 will be Team India versus Team NDA. Chak de India. Manikam Tagore said India will win. So that is the pitch coming in from the opposition camp, ladies and gentlemen, taking on the National Democratic Alliance, the NDA, led by Prime Minister Modi, will be the loose coalition of these opposition parties called the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. That is the buzz when it comes to the alliance name. I'm also joined by Pallavi Ghosh on the broadcast. Pallavi, so the NDA versus India, and the key difference in the abbreviations is the word inclusive. That is the pitch coming in from the opposition camp.
The whole name, the acronym, India, I think that's the point also which the opposition parties are wanting to make, that the true idea of India is one in which everyone finds a space, where everyone is included, and therefore this is the real India that we are going to be offering to you. That has really been the crux of whatever the kind of negotiations, talks which have been taking place. It essentially is going to pitch itself opposite the NDA or the BJP, which has always been accused of being disruptive. So here they are saying that we are not divisive, we are not disruptive, we are inclusive, we want to take everyone, and integrative. I think that's the key point as far as this whole acronym about India is concerned, which is being tweeted out immediately by all those leaders, some of whom are not there, some of whom are there. The first one to do so, of course, was the Trinamool Congress's whip in Rajya Sabha, that's Derek O'Brien, and he's been one of the chief negotiators as far as his entire opposition unity meeting is concerned. But I think that's essentially the point which the opposition wants to make. In fact, in a short while from now, Ayushman, that press conference, that joint press conference is going to take place. Clearly on agenda was the name. Clearly on agenda was also what is going to be the common minimum or common manifesto. So these are the nitty-gritty points which are being put out.
Absolutely. We're also joined by Harish, who's reporting from Bengaluru, where that critical meeting is taking place. Harish, so the buzz has now started coming in from top opposition leaders that this alliance will be called India, the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance, emphasizing on the word inclusive.
Absolutely, because several of these parties, remember,
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. We continue to track all the developments that are taking place as far as the big NDA meet that is currently underway here in the national capital. The Prime Minister in attendance, you have the Home Minister attending that meeting, BJP National President JP Nadda, and 38 alliance partners. What is going to be very crucial is what the Prime Minister says at the end of this meeting. 38 alliance partners, the Prime Minister tweeted just before this meeting began, saying this is an alliance that has been trusted in the past, unlike various other alliances that are being formed these days, taking a direct dig as far as the opposition unity is concerned. Let's bring our colleagues back in the conversation who've been tracking these developments. Payal Mehta continues to be with us. Arun Dhanta also continues to be with us. Arun, coming to you first. So as we said, 38 alliance partners. A lot in politics depends as far as the optics is concerned. The BJP, the NDA would want to play as far as the number is concerned, that it's 38 versus just about 26 opposition parties. You've been talking to us about the agenda as far as this meeting is concerned. Any inside details that you're picking up on what's really happening behind the scenes?
Well, see, Ridhima, to get the details from inside, we need to wait for a while. But one thing is sure that the meeting has started, and as per the agenda of the meeting, perhaps the Union Home Minister Amit Shah has already started speaking, set the agenda for this meeting. But the important and the moot point here, Ridhima, is that this meeting of NDA is very, very crucial. You have political parties coming from all states. For example, you have 11 political parties coming from Northeast, and Prime Minister Modi has been speaking about Northeast, that how he's been focused and how he's been working closely to develop Northeast, and therefore they have in fact made Nadda as well, for which they have made Hemant Biswa Sarma convener. So their focus is on Northeast. That message Prime Minister Modi has been giving, and also with this, every alliance partner is something very crucial and important for BJP. That is also going to be a message coming out of it, because remember, at this crucial juncture, even a single Lok Sabha seat is going to be very crucial, and therefore you have around 11 Lok Sabha seats in Northeast. All those seats are going to be very crucial, and all these small parties will play very important role, and therefore we are seeing that 11 parties have been given invite, and they have agreed. They've come here for this NDA's meeting, and similarly you have smaller political parties from Uttar Pradesh, the biggest state as far as the Lok Sabha seats are concerned. You have small parties coming from the eastern Uttar Pradesh to have that caste equation right, and therefore the strategy how to utilize them is going to be very crucial, which perhaps we'll see in coming few days.
Sure. Arun and Payal, keep tracking all those developments for us. This is a big story that we'll keep tracking. We have to quickly shift our focus to some other breaking developments also now coming in. And this is as far as the very unfortunate news of former Chief Minister Oman Chandi, who in fact passed away at about 4 a.m. this morning. He was 79. Now we're understanding, as tributes have been pouring for him for the entire day, A.K. Anthony in fact broke down when he saw the mortal remains of Oman Chandi. Multiple leaders across the day have been paying their tributes. A lot of the leaders were in Bengaluru for the opposition meet. Most of them also meeting the family members as far as Oman Chandi were concerned. Let's try and take a look at what's really happening. Those visuals on your screens, A.K. Anthony in fact breaking down after seeing the mortal remains of Oman Chandi. As tributes continue to pour in for Oman Chandi, here's a tribute to the former Chief Minister.
A two-time Chief Minister, an MLA for 5 decades, setting the record for serving the longest tenure in Kerala Assembly. Oman Chandi was truly a mass leader. He began his political career from Kerala Students' Union and then went on to serve as the Chief Minister for 7 years. A young Chandi fought his first electoral battle in 1970 against a formidable CPM rival, the sitting MLA of Pudupalli. Barely 27, he won by over 7,000 votes and never looked back. A quintessential crowd puller for the party and the government, he was known as a CM who's very accessible.
It is great loss to our country and particularly to the state of Kerala.
Chandiji represented the spirit of Kerala and the spirit of India. He was a true leader of the people of Kerala, and we will all miss him. We loved him very much, and we will remember him fondly.
Chandi was a chief minister in 2014 when 46 nurses from Kerala were taken hostage by ISIS in Tikrit. He worked day and night, maintained contact with helpless nurses and their families, and worked alongside them.
Sources still, Indian National Democratic, what will be the abbreviations that are still working, that they are still working on. But the buzz is, though they have not officially said anything, but the buzz is that the new group, the opposition group, the name might be India. So it's if it's India, then it's India versus NDA. So definitely all the big leaders, all the top leaders of the opposition, from Mamata Banerjee to Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them have sit together. They are working on the name and the buzz. And there's two significant tweets by Derek O'Brien and also by the Congress leader, itself puts a big question. It itself has, created this buzz that is the name India.
Right. So Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. We also got a tweet from Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Uddhav faction of the Shiv Sena saying, so 2024 will be Team India versus Team NDA. Chak de India. Manikam Tagore said India will win. So that is the pitch coming in from the opposition camp, ladies and gentlemen, taking on the National Democratic Alliance, the NDA, led by Prime Minister Modi, will be the loose coalition of these opposition parties called the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance. That is the buzz when it comes to the alliance name. I'm also joined by Pallavi Ghosh on the broadcast. Pallavi, so the NDA versus India, and the key difference in the abbreviations is the word inclusive. That is the pitch coming in from the opposition camp.
The whole name, the acronym, India, I think that's the point also which the opposition parties are wanting to make, that the true idea of India is one in which everyone finds a space, where everyone is included, and therefore this is the real India that we are going to be offering to you. That has really been the crux of whatever the kind of negotiations, talks which have been taking place. It essentially is going to pitch itself opposite the NDA or the BJP, which has always been accused of being disruptive. So here they are saying that we are not divisive, we are not disruptive, we are inclusive, we want to take everyone, and integrative. I think that's the key point as far as this whole acronym about India is concerned, which is being tweeted out immediately by all those leaders, some of whom are not there, some of whom are there. The first one to do so, of course, was the Trinamool Congress's whip in Rajya Sabha, that's Derek O'Brien, and he's been one of the chief negotiators as far as his entire opposition unity meeting is concerned. But I think that's essentially the point which the opposition wants to make. In fact, in a short while from now, Ayushman, that press conference, that joint press conference is going to take place. Clearly on agenda was the name. Clearly on agenda was also what is going to be the common minimum or common manifesto. So these are the nitty-gritty points which are being put out.
Absolutely. We're also joined by Harish, who's reporting from Bengaluru, where that critical meeting is taking place. Harish, so the buzz has now started coming in from top opposition leaders that this alliance will be called India, the Indian National Democratic Inclusive Alliance, emphasizing on the word inclusive.
Absolutely, because several of these parties, remember, have spoken about how this narrative of majority versus...
Good evening and a warm welcome. You're watching Viewpoint with me, Grihato. The special chabbis from the opposition, reiterating their united we stand stance, have now decided to call themselves India, the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, a nomenclature that leads to a strategic acronym that would now be pitting India against the NDA ahead of the 2024 general elections. As it is not just the opposition joining forces, BJP too is planning to increase its ambit, and that's why that NDA meet is currently underway. And that explains the mega meet of the 38 that we are talking about as we speak in the national capital. Existing allies plus 8 new entrants, with many not even with a single Lok Sabha representation. But the BJP certainly is making the minute caste calculations and realizing how important these small players are in the smaller pockets, especially in crucial states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Maharashtra. It is also essentially taking on the opposition unity stance, showing a division within the ranks and in a sense also juxtaposing it with a reality check that reads as to how long can this unity really last. Because after all, isn't it an alliance that's riddled with contradictions as opposed to an NDA that has a clear leader and, more importantly, a clear agenda? As for the BJP, that is seen as a very hawkish party even for its allies. Will they not have to tone down their whole big brotherly attitude for their own alliance to hold? Those are the important questions that we attempt to answer this evening on Viewpoint.
देश की आवाज को दबाया और कुचला जा रहा है। ये देश